Greetings, friends. Today, we will reflect on a very particular topic. An incredible and mysterious topic among many that exist in this wonderful world. I think we all agree that there are things that are too incredible, that official science and the majority of people sadly take for granted, eclipsing their perpetual majesty with banal and minimizing theories without realizing that they are glorious miracles created for the benefit of all beings, for life and for all of us. Have you ever wondered how everything works so perfectly in this world? Why is that all things are perfectly made for each other in a cycle with no apparent end? What is nature? What is everything that surrounds us and gives meaning to our lives? What are trees? What are plants? And what are the fruits and vegetables? What's the meaning for their existence? In this part, we analyze the hidden origin of those wonderful beings, which we currently call plants. Those beings that dominate and define this world, that give it shape and fulfill it. The great mystery of plants and trees. Nature and where it came from. What is it? First of all, for you to get into context and see that these mysteries go beyond what science tells us, we will analyze a mysterious plant which is commonly called corn. This is a corn plant. Official history tells us that these strange plants have been the product of plant domestication, which over time we have transformed into what it is today. However, it is not known exactly at what point in history corn came to exist in the way we know. Corn is one of the most consumed foods, and almost everything we eat has corn syrup, or corn starch, to a greater or lesser extent. Different presentations cover the global consumption of this plant, from corn cereals, fried foods, flour. Even meat comes from animals whose diet, we are told, is, among other things, corn. Given that this is everywhere, it has been an essential part of human nutrition for quite some time. Definitely, humanity could not achieve a world without corn or its derivatives. But then, what is the secret behind corn? As simple as we see it, corn is something extremely rare. It seems not, but in truth, there is a great mystery surrounding the appearance of this very complex food. It's just that we have never stopped to analyze it, and obviously they didn't tell us this in schools. But there is nothing in nature like corn. It is not a vegetable, much less a fruit, nor a tuber. So what is corn, and why is it so complex? First of all, corn is considered a grass. Grasses are monocotyledons and angiosperms, two very technical concepts that refer to specific biological qualities of plants. There are more than 12,000 species of grasses, being one of the largest families of plants. However, there is no other similar to corn. More examples of grasses are wheat, oats, rice, and sugar cane. This family of plants is designed to adapt and survive to multiple environments, which is why its production extends throughout the world, being one of the most widely consumed foods worldwide. The history of corn, we are told, began with the crew of Christopher Columbus, these being the first Europeans to see corn for the first time. However, we can see corn here in very old Hindu carvings. This tells us about how since then, these cultures had cultivated corn for thousands of years. Some archaeological evidence found around the world tells us, all this according to official history, that about 10,000 years ago, humans began to live in larger settlements and appropriate wild plants and wild animals for their needs, changing them or taming them. However, the concept of domestication remains theoretical, since it has never been demonstrated with other different animals, such as hippos or snakes. It has also not been possible to domesticate other wild animals such as zebras, even though they tried a lot. Today's dogs seem to have altered or modified genes. Even neurons with different brightness, and that respond to stimuli and human voices. In the case of plants, they tell us, this domestication led to the shaping of what we now call cultives. A specific variety of plants adapted to our human needs, while having, at the same time, other ancient or wild varieties of them. We have wild apples, wild potatoes, and a whole variety of crops, which have their wild variant. However, there is nothing in nature today that resembles corn in their versatility and nutrition. There are also multiple corn variants of different colors, whose traits and benefits have been lost with genetic crosses. Fossil finds of corn cobs of supposedly more than 6,000 years old look very similar to the corn grown today. This dismantles the formal theory about their origin. So, where do these crop plants like corn come from? Is there something secret hidden in their origins? Many scientists, surprised by these findings, thought that perhaps the ancestor of corn must have become extinct. However, a geneticist named Georges Bidonin discovered a genetic match with a plant called teosinte. However, these two plants, similar only genetically, have been analyzed by another scientist named John Dooley from the University of Wisconsin, who highlights the tremendous differences between the two. Being that teosinte is the only known plant that is remotely close to what corn is. So, how did this become this? Official science tells us that 4 genes are responsible for this, and that, by making the right combinations, and through a process of several thousand years of correct genetic combinations, we arrived at corn as we know it. This was supposedly done by trial and error, and with incredible precision. Following this, the ancient farmers of the Stone Age were not only excellent geneticists, but, in some way, they could foresee that by continuing to harvest those hard and horrible berries, these would become something tasty, but after several thousands of years. How could they know that, and not have simply discarded the teosinte? Also, how did they know which genes to remove and which to leave? Coincidentally, all the genes that are manipulated in the teosinte are the so-called regulatory genes. That is, a special branch of genes on which must have experience to manipulate. It's not only by growing the best, cause at the beginning, there was no best. There's no such difference between the crops until centuries. Let's remember how genetic and transgenic manipulation is used in foods today. This to make the larger or more resistant. Could it be that the ancient civilizations already knew how to use these modern alchemical techniques? Could it be that all the other crop plants that we currently use, and on which we depend, have been intervened in the same way? Or maybe, in fact, they were given by the gods. In a previous video, we already talked a little about how all plants are gifts in their original form. Gifts for this world and for their life. Gifts that can be alchemically modified in their substanced inner code. The genetic knowledge to modify life and matter. But who gave the ancients such knowledge? Teosinte turns out to be a very tough and small plant, very visibly inappropriate for the Stone Age farmers to even think of it as edible. Much less think that the thing could be improved. So, how is it possible that the ancients saw the inherent potential of this plant, enough to invest thousands of years in its supposedly gradual improvement? How is it possible that they knew? Many questions around this topic. But for now, we just have to understand that all plants are gifts. Gifts that work for this world, and that many of them were also alchemically altered for millennia to provide us with advantages and usabilities. Well-being. Perhaps all fruits and vegetables were equally modified to be what they are now. It is no coincidence that they are so perfect. So perfect that they even seem to be alive. Well, obviously they are alive. And not only that, they are intelligent. And they even have more senses than us. Yes. A few years ago, on an interview in the Chilean newspaper, neurobiologist Stefano Mancuso from the University of Florence, also founder of the International Laboratory of Plant Neurobiology, explains that, in fact, science has shown that plants have the same 5 senses as human beings, and about 15 additional senses. Among these hypersensory capacities of plants is the perception of elements in the earth, the perception of electrical and magnetic changes, the chemical gradients of water, as well as the presence of pathogens, among many other senses. Even maybe some we don't even know. Mancuso clarifies that plants do not have eyes and ears like we do, but they perceive all gradations of light and sound vibrations. It has also been shown that they communicate with each other and even protect the youngest. Mushrooms and vines are also known to have very high reasoning and complex problem-solving abilities. Here we see a mushroom looking for its way through a labyrinth, and without mistake, finding the shortest path. How is it possible for plants to have such intelligence without a brain? Ancient legends and mythologies already tell us about all this. About the living trees that move and even sing. Intelligent beings that even possess elemental powers to communicate with other plants. Let us realize how everything ancient is once again revalued. The legends of trees as channelers of energy for the world. They even look the same. Can you see it? The way in which these organisms exist is no coincidence. Being able to appreciate great similarity with antennas and other technological devices used to receive information as energy. I explain it in more detail. All plants are alchemical receptors, which transform the energies received and given by the world, such as light, water, earth, and air, into fruits, foods, and incredible substances that provide us with freedom. Substances that carry information and energy is encoded within. The hidden mysteries of fruits and plants. Alchemical mysteries waiting to be deciphered. Let us remember how every medicine has been extracted from some plant or animal substances. From alchemical potions with ingredients that were originally things like bat legs, alligator skin, hair, blood, etc. Substances and secretions with elements that function as gifts to this world, as reactive nutrients. Every substance and element discovered is generated first of all by and for this world nature, by its geoalchemy. There is no element that is completely synthetic. They haven't created nothing, just playing with the creation itself. Everything that exists is made up of natural elements found in this material world, created by the divine alchemical consciousness and its intelligence. Alchemy, today and always, has allowed us to transmute the materials found in this world, both organic and inorganic, minerals and vegetables, and joining or mixing them through physical and chemical processes, in order to purify and reveal their material powers, unleashing their contained energy codes. If we continue with this simple definition, we can understand how everything that exists is alchemy. The internal processes of every biological being are alchemy. Computer chips, transistors, cables, and every device or artifact. Every process, both mechanical and digital. Everything is based on these hidden forces of transformation of the energetic matter. Now, do you understand how all technology is alchemy? How they lied to us about history and ancient discoveries, so that we do not realize that many legends and myths are based on hidden realities. The legends about gigantic trees and how they channeled energy to the world. The many proofs of their existence. We must realize that these things will never be told in schools or universities, since it is a very ancient and hidden knowledge, which allows us to gain perceive of all the Masonic and Jesuit lies, and, at the same time, get aware of the incredible and forbidden magnificence of this world. They do not want us to realize our greatness and the majesty of these magical processes. It is time for us to wake up to all these tremendous truths. It is time to leave behind this reptilian system, in which we destroy ourselves and the world for mere papers. It is time to educate for the future, so that children understand the inherent beauty and importance of returning to nature, of returning to love, wisdom, and sustainability. Let's teach them to be free from the bonds of a world ruled by ego and consumerism. Let us teach them to educate their future children in the true sacred teaching. We are in a global change, and this is the best way to reach many people. We, who know these things, are the ones who will truly make a change in this world. Let's conquer one soul at a time. Let's aware on the dark intentions of artificial intelligence and these horrendous education system that force us to forget about nature, exalting technocitanism, and the dominance of the machine over humanity. Let's be free again. The future is being sold and muzzled, and it is our duty to guide the youngest towards light and wisdom. The change in consciousness is happening as we speak, and it is time to educate and be better. Start by sharing these videos with the most awakened. In all occultism forums and groups. Let's reach more people. It is time. We speak the truth, and we will be heard. You just have to wake up from the great deception. The system does not work. Time to get out. Reactive Factory Project.